Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. Tyree Wilson steps into his third NFL season with everything to prove and very little margin for error. This isn't just another chapter in his career. It's the defining stretch that will either solidify his place with the Raiders or push him out of the picture completely. Picked 7th overall back in the 2023 draft, Wilson arrived in Las Vegas with the kind of hype that turns heads, the kind of expectations that only come with elite athleticism and college tape that made scouts salivate. But in the NFL, potential is only the beginning of the conversation. Production is what seals the deal, and so far, Wilson hasn't delivered the breakout the Raiders envisioned. Across his first 2 seasons, Wilson has only managed to rack up 8 sacks. For someone with his frame, his burst off the edge, and the versatility he showed at Texas Tech, that number is underwhelming. And what's made things even tougher is that the front office that drafted him, the one that believed in his upside and committed a top 10 pick to him, is no longer around. The people now calling the shots in Las Vegas didn't draft Tyree Wilson, which means the leash is shorter, the scrutiny sharper, and the urgency cranked up to maximum. But here's where things get interesting. Just when it seemed like Wilson might be on the verge of fading into the background, a major shift within the team might have cracked the door wide open for a new chapter. The release of veteran defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, a surprise to many, has created a ripple effect across the defensive line. And that ripple might just carry Wilson into a role that's tailor-made for his skill set. It's not just speculation either. New head coach Pete Carroll has already spoken publicly about Wilson, and the tone is anything but reserved. Carroll sees something brewing in Wilson, not just talent, but effort, hunger, and the desire to grow into something greater. And if there's one coach in the league who knows how to unlock defensive potential, it's Pete Carroll. He's built entire legacies on getting the most out of players others overlooked or misunderstood. So, when he says, "I think this is really his time," it means something. He's not tossing out compliments to fill space. He's setting the tone for the season, and Wilson is part of that tone. What's especially fascinating about Wilson's current trajectory is how the coaching staff is using him. This isn't just a plug-and-play defensive end assignment anymore. Throughout training camp, the Raiders have been experimenting, moving Wilson across the defensive line, putting him in different positions, testing how he performs from the inside, the edge, even in combination with other pressure packages. It's the same approach they're taking with guys like Jeremy Chin and Jamal Adams. Put athletes in position to succeed by letting their natural tools do the talking. And when it comes to Wilson's effectiveness on the interior, there's actually a compelling case to be made. Over the past 2 seasons, he's played just under 240 snaps lined up as a defensive tackle. In that time, he's generated 17 pressures and 4 sacks. That's not just promising, that's proof of concept. Just last year, in a limited sample, he notched 9 pressures and 2 sacks from the interior. These aren't just garbage time stats either. These are plays where Wilson's power, quickness, and hands made a difference. And more importantly, they show he can be more than just an edge rusher. Carroll has echoed that excitement. When he talks about Wilson, it's not just about what he's done. It's about how he's doing it. The words effort and full speed keep coming up. Carroll has been around long enough to know that raw athleticism is only part of the equation. What separates guys who flash for a season from the ones who become cornerstones is consistency, motor, and buy-in. And right now, Wilson is showing all of that. According to Carroll, he's doing everything the right way, from grinding through reps at full intensity to absorbing the nuances of his role on the line. And if all of that continues into the season, Wilson could be in for the kind of breakout year that finally silences the doubt and justifies the pick that brought him to Vegas in the first place. But while Wilson's story feels like one of redemption and opportunity, there's another narrative unfolding in the Raiders' secondary, one that's clouded by uncertainty and frustration. Cornerback Jacorian Bennett, once seen as a promising young piece for the future, is now facing a very different challenge. Coming off a shoulder injury that cut short his 2024 campaign, Bennett entered the offseason with something to prove, and early signs pointed in a positive direction. He'd flashed solid development before the injury, and many believed he could be a real contributor this year. But then came the regime change. With Pete Carroll taking over as head coach and John Spytek stepping in as general manager, the deck was reshuffled. And suddenly, Bennett found himself sliding down the depth chart. Former fourth-round pick Decamarion Richardson seems to have leapfrogged him in camp. Free agent signing Eric Stokes is receiving plenty of attention. And third-round rookie Darian Porter, clearly a player with a new regime's stamp of approval, is getting valuable reps. In the middle of all that, Bennett is stuck in a kind of limbo, bouncing between different roles and struggling to find his footing. There are whispers now, legitimate whispers, that the Raiders might explore trading him. And while nothing is confirmed, the logic isn't hard to follow. Bennett was drafted by a different coaching staff. He doesn't necessarily fit Carroll's defensive blueprint, which tends to favor bigger, more physical defensive backs. And with so many players ahead of him on the depth chart, it's not unreasonable to think the front office could try to recoup some value by sending him elsewhere. Still, a move like that comes with its own risks. Bennett, despite his size and injury history, showed plenty of promise last season. He has the speed, the instincts, and the ball skills to make an impact, especially in a zone-heavy system or as a nickel corner. If Las Vegas gives up on him too quickly, it could end up being a decision they regret, especially if he thrives elsewhere. That's why training camp and the preseason are going to be crucial for Bennett. This is his window. If he can prove that he belongs, whether it's as a slot corner, a depth piece, or even a hybrid safety, he might just force the Raiders' hand. Because the truth is, a player like Bennett doesn't lack talent. What he needs is opportunity, trust, and a clear role. And if the coaching staff is willing to give him even a sliver of that, he might remind everyone why he was once considered a cornerstone piece in the first place. Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the ball, the excitement is swirling around a different name entirely. Rookie running back Ashton Janney. Drafted 6th overall this past April, Janney enters the NFL with sky-high expectations and a very specific mission: fix what was by far the worst rushing attack in the league last season. And he's not just being viewed as a spark plug. He's being positioned as a foundational piece, someone who can change the identity of this offense from day one. With Pete Carroll calling the shots and offensive coordinator Chip Kelly drawing up schemes, it's no secret what the Raiders want to do this year. They want balance. They want physicality. And they want an offense that can control the clock, wear down defenses, and open up the play-action game. Janney fits that mold perfectly. He's explosive through the hole, he's got vision, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. That's the exact combination Carroll and Kelly have used to elevate rushing attacks in the past, and now Janney gets the chance to follow in that tradition. But the excitement isn't just coming for the coaching staff or fans. It's reached the virtual gridiron too. EA Sports just released its ratings for the upcoming Madden NFL 26, and Janney is making waves. He enters the game as the second highest rated rookie, sitting at an 83 overall. The only rookie ahead of him? Travis Hunter, the Jacksonville Jaguars two-way phenom, who holds an 84. Janney's rating puts him in elite company right out of the gate. Among Raiders players, only Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, and A.J. Cole rank higher. That's a huge endorsement, and it signals that even the Madden developers expect him to be an impact player from day one. And with in-season rating updates now being the norm, Janney's number could rise quickly if he starts the year strong. There's even talk that he could crack the 90s by the end of the season, though more realistically, that jump might come in year 2. Still, whether it's on the field or in Madden, Ashton Janney is already turning heads. Raiders fans have a new offensive weapon to rally around, and gamers are already locking him in as a must-have in franchise mode. The potential is obvious. The opportunity is real. And if everything clicks, Janney could be the piece that finally balances out this Raiders offense and gives them a legitimate identity on the ground. Jacorian Bennett's journey with the Raiders has reached a crossroads that few players want to face so early in their careers. After showing promising flashes as a rookie, His momentum was abruptly halted by a shoulder injury that sidelined him for the latter part of the 2024 season. Injuries are part of the game, but for a player trying to establish himself in a league as competitive as the NFL, timing can be everything, and Bennett's timing couldn't have been worse. When he returned to practice and training camp, it became clear that the Raiders' new leadership under head coach Pete Carroll and general manager John Spytek viewed the roster through a different lens. The defensive scheme has shifted, and with that shift comes new priorities that may not align with Bennett's skill set as seamlessly as before. Carroll's defensive philosophy emphasizes bigger, more physical defensive backs who can jam receivers of the line and provide run support without sacrificing coverage ability. It's a blueprint that's been proven at the highest levels, but it has left Bennett, a player known for his speed and agility rather than his size, on uncertain ground. Meanwhile, younger players and new acquisitions who fit the mold better are climbing the depth chart, pushing Bennett further from the starting lineup. Players like Decamarion Richardson, a fourth-round pick, have impressed in camp, while free agent signing Eric Stokes brings veteran experience that the new staff seems to value highly. Add in Darian Porter, the third-round rookie who has clearly caught the coach's eyes, and Bennett is now fighting just to keep his roster spot. There's talk among analysts and insiders that the Raiders may consider moving Bennett before the season starts. It's a logical consideration from a roster management perspective. If Bennett can't crack the starting lineup and the team has several players ahead of him on the depth chart, trading him could yield assets the Raiders can use to fill other holes. It's also a chance for Bennett to find a fresh start somewhere his talents might be better utilized. However, such a move is not without its risks and implications. Trading a young player who showed genuine promise last season sends a message about the team's patience and player development philosophy. It might signal that the Raiders are in a win-now mode and less willing to invest in players who need more time to grow. But Bennett's case isn't as simple as a one-dimensional player being out of place. His speed and instincts have already proven valuable in coverage, and his ball skills give him a chance to make game-changing plays. The coaching staff may be grappling with how best to use him within the new scheme. There are options beyond starting cornerback roles, slot corner, nickelback, or even a hybrid safety role where his range and coverage ability could shine. The preseason and training camp will be crucial for Bennett to prove he can adapt and contribute in multiple ways. If he can show enough versatility and consistency, the Raiders may be forced to reconsider his value, not just as depth, but as a key component of their defensive backfield rotation. This situation highlights a broader theme within the Raiders organization. The transition under Pete Carroll and John Spytek is not just a coaching change, but a fundamental reshaping of the team's identity. Players who thrived under the previous regime must now either adapt quickly or risk being left behind. For Bennett, this means the next few months are more important than ever. His work ethic, ability to learn new schemes, and willingness to take on new roles will be put to the ultimate test. It's a critical offseason for a player whose future with the Raiders and in the NFL remains in the balance. Nick Bosa and Lane Johnson spotted together in Las Vegas has ignited a wildfire of speculation across the NFL world. While nothing has been confirmed by official team sources, the buzz around a potential pairing of these two all-pro linemen at the Raiders has fans dreaming big. Could Las Vegas be on the verge of constructing the most formidable trench in football? Bosa, known for his relentless pass rush, and Johnson, arguably the best right tackle of the past decade, represent opposite ends of the line of scrimmage, but their combined presence would send shockwaves through the AFC West. Imagine a scenario where Johnson anchors the offensive line while Bosa, usually wreaking havoc in opposing backfields, dons the silver and black jersey to terrorize quarterbacks. Their appearance in Vegas was casual. No suits, no briefcases, just two elite athletes catching up. But the setting, the timing, and the whispers swirling around Allegiant Stadium have all the ingredients of something more than coincidence. Could this be the first public sign of a blockbuster move by the Raiders? Observers noted that they spent several hours together, dining at a high-end steakhouse and attending what appeared to be a closed-door event hosted by a known Raiders executive. Coincidence or calculated? Sources close to the Raiders have hinted that the team is exploring aggressive offseason moves to solidify both lines of scrimmage. While neither BOSA nor Johnson are free agents at the moment, trade speculation has gained serious traction. Johnson has been a stalwart in Philadelphia, but whispers suggest he might be open to a late-career move if the situation is right. BOSA, under contract with San Francisco, remains one of the most dominant defensive players in the game, yet recent tensions in the 49ers front office could pave the way for something unprecedented. Bringing both to Las Vegas would require a monumental effort in terms of cap space, negotiations, and draft capital, but if any franchise has shown a willingness to bet big, on and off the field, it's the Raiders. The presence of both stars in Las Vegas, at a time when the team is rumored to be finalizing key strategic decisions, has led many insiders to believe something is brewing. Team officials remain tight-lipped, but those close to the organization suggest there's major noise behind the scenes and that a new era of Raiders football could be around the corner. What makes this situation particularly tantalizing is the potential impact on both sides of the ball. If the Raiders somehow manage to land BOSA and Johnson, the ripple effects would be enormous. Offensively, Johnson would offer veteran protection and leadership to a young and evolving unit. Defensively, BOSA's motor and explosiveness could redefine the Raiders' pass rush and elevate the entire defensive scheme. Analysts are already imagining the chessboard. How opposing coaches would plan for a game where their quarterback has to deal with BOSA's relentless pressure while their defense contends with an offensive line anchored by Johnson. The idea may seem far-fetched on the surface, especially given the logistical gymnastics required, but the NFL has seen stranger things unfold. The Raiders' newfound ambition, combined with a hunger to return to championship contention, aligns perfectly with such bold aspirations. The timing of the encounter, just before training camps kick into full gear, only adds fuel to the speculative fire. Could Vegas be orchestrating one of the most shocking dual acquisitions in recent memory? Raiders fans, ever passionate and quick to dream, have flooded social media with theories, mock trades, and speculative roster lineups featuring BOSA and Johnson in silver and black. While some remain skeptical, pointing to contractual constraints and team loyalties, others believe this is exactly the type of splash move that defines the modern Raiders' identity. With Mark Davis keen on reviving the mystique and dominance of the franchise's storied past, surrounding the team with elite, battle-tested talent may be part of a broader vision. Furthermore, Vegas offers more than just football. It's a lifestyle destination, a marketing powerhouse, and a brand amplifier. BOSA and Johnson, both with established reputations, could benefit tremendously from the exposure and business opportunities tied to the city. Some insiders claim Johnson has been intrigued by Vegas for years, while BOSA's competitive fire might be stoked by the chance to face the 49ers twice a year in the same state. For now, it's all whispers and what-ifs, but if even part of this rumor becomes reality, the entire landscape of the AFC West, and perhaps the league, could shift dramatically. There's also the question of chemistry and leadership. Johnson, known for his locker room presence and vocal mentorship, could be the steadying influence the Raiders' offensive line has long needed. BOSA, meanwhile, brings intensity and a fearsome edge that could reinvigorate a defensive unit desperate for consistency. Pairing them wouldn't just be about talent. It would be about reshaping the team's identity and mindset. In a division that features Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Sean Payton's Broncos, fortifying the trenches isn't just smart, it's essential. League executives have reportedly taken notice of the speculation, with at least one rival GM stating anonymously, if the Raiders pull this off, it's a game changer. Whether these rumblings result in actual deals remains to be seen, but the sheer possibility has electrified off-season chatter. Nick BOSA and Lane Johnson may have just been sharing a meal and laughs in Las Vegas, but in the high-stakes world of the NFL, appearances can be everything. For now, Raider Nation watches, waits, and wonders. Could their team be on the cusp of building the most fearsome wall in football? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, Be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.